We got to bang him out at Asshole Consulting because the world never sleeps. If you got questions, Cappy's got answers at assholeconsulting.com. I got a scratchy head. Hang on. There we go. Cappy, I'll give you my questions up front and give you my context story below as well. I'm having an extremely difficult time relating to women on dates. Do you think my life experience and intelligence are a factor? Here's the context. 31 years old, to live in a major U.S. city. IQ is 125. Net worth is over $350,000. Why can't I find a man? Where have all the good men gone? Okay, don't care anymore. I work out 6 days a week and I'm in shape. No kids, never married. Spent 8 years in the military after going to college for free. Got a worthless degree. Went straight into the army. Decided to go back to school, get a mechanical engineering degree. Why are all the good men gone? Can't find. So currently a full-time undergrad about what? Oh, you're making this kind of money and you're still in college. That's great, man. I'm definitely introverted, but do enjoy meeting new people and can carry myself in a conversation with strangers. Ever since I moved out here, I've been on countless dates, and for the vast majority, I've been bored, turned off, or downright disgusted. Last night's date was a catalyst for this email. My hopes are high for her. She believes that the current COVID crisis is overblown and leans right politically, so I was excited to meet someone who is capable of independent thought, or just different. It starts off just fine. She's beautiful. Conversation is flowing and interesting. She throws down some cash to split the bill. All right. So far, so good. We go to another place, order more drinks, and that's when things start going downhill. She didn't seem capable of accepting my answers. For example, she wanted to learn to shoot, and when I said I'd be happy to teach her, she didn't believe me, and I had to reaffirm my willingness multiple times. She made a cool comment about how the best bar is her back porch, to which I responded, that's a great way to look at things. She asked me to elaborate, but not in a friendly way. Watch the latest Good Morning Corona chat. I think it's episode number 32. Just quit, guys. Just done. Throw in the towel. Elaborate, but not in a friendly way. It was as if she wanted to be absolutely certain that I meant what I said. Earlier in the date, I told her that I struggled with opening up to people, so she jokingly said that I was a challenge. Yeah, you never, ever, not even your wife, you don't tell girls you're dating, especially on the first date, any of your problems. None. You just don't. That there's no upside potential to it. I thought it was funny and truly welcomed any attempt to get me to open up. However, I started to notice that whenever I started opening up about something personal, about my family, my time in Afghanistan, outlook on religion, she would interrupt me. As the night went on, she again mentioned how difficult I was to figure out. We then started talking about food, and when I began to tell her about the Afghan local who could cook for us in Afghanistan. What? The Afghan who would cook for us? Oh, in Afghanistan. She interrupted me and said I should have taken her to an Afghan place and claimed the previous places we were at were all pretty bad. Okay, yeah, so she's just kind of myopic. These are just the highlights. By the end of the night, I felt emotionally drained and had completely given up on pretending I was enjoying myself. To add insult to injury, I ended up paying for the vast majority of the bills that night. You and my friend also. I have a buddy. He ended up paying for all of it. I left the day feeling there was something wrong with me. My friends kept pushing me towards women, even though I've explained I'm starting to lose interest in them. I don't even think they're worth my time anymore. Well, look, let's be intellectually honest here. If you're already thinking that you don't have the spirit and excitement, how good of a date can you possibly be for the women? Now, I'm not to say that the women, it sounded like it started off good. You gave it your best efforts. But man, if it's not, you're like, I really don't want to go to the Disneyland. Am I really going to have a fun time at Disneyland? Probably not. I mean, your brain is telling you something, all right? You're just tired. You're burnt out. You can't force yourself to do shit you don't want to do. So I just say stop dating right now altogether because you're not enjoying it. And it's not going to be fair for the gals. And until you're like, yeah, I want to try it again, or you giving the, in fairness and intellectual honesty for the gals. But yeah, this is just another rock on the pile of dating is a pain in the ass. And you're there to be her entertainer and her court jester and pay for shit, and they are to exist and you are to entertain. It's a very tiring. I've been there before. It's not worth it. I discovered your channel and beginning to think my high IQ and life experience puts me on a different planet from most women. Yes. Yeah. Well, you being male, you're a different planet from most women. Now, her being not a leftist, okay, you might be roughly in the same solar system as each other, but men and women are different people, different creatures when you consider all the indoctrination and brainwashing women have. Yes, they are so far removed and warped from their original femininity type values and their natural selves. You're looking at a hybrid. You're looking at a science experiment gone horrifically wrong, where we've taken a woman and we've mutilated her into this wannabe man. In general. So yeah, and then you throw in your IQ and your experience. Most girls, unless they were in Afghanistan or in Iraq, and there's some out there, there's some gals out there, most of them are not going to be able to relate to you. Most of them aren't. And you throw in you're even further. Now you're a whole galaxy away. Please keep my name anonymous, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, can you give me your typical date? And by typical, I mean, give me the profile of the girls you've been dating, degree, look, single mom, not. And then how the typical date goes. Any other commonalities you've seen between the dates you've all went on? Also, did you pick up on it at all when she said, my porch is the best bar, you should have said, let's go there? Typical date, college graduates of some sort of profession. As far as looks go, they're fairly attractive. I avoid 10 out of 10s because they're completely void of personality. I avoid single moms like the plague. The women I've had the best connection with have mostly been other veterans and other specific things that you were in the military. The Porsche comment, it wasn't said in a playful tone at all. Oh, okay. And I don't think it was an invite, but I've been wrong before. I wasn't even interested at that point. I was so exhausted with the verbal jujitsu. Gals, how hard is it just to ask some questions, be nice, be flirtatious? Just what? Never mind. I've asked too much already. To give context, she was discussing it when it was acceptable for her to stay in for the night, and it boiled down me basically entertaining her by researching things we could try in the kitchen and stuff. I need to stress that there was no we in her statements as far as coming up plans, ideas. It was always directed at me. I feel I was getting the feeling that she always needs a guy to have a plan, even if they're staying in, which would drive me up the wall, honestly. Typical date goes much better than the one I described. We meet in a bar, try to arrange for a quiet time like a weeknight or an early afternoon on a weekend. That way it's not too crowded. We can hear each other. Dates typically go just fine. At least I think so. And we're either both not interested or I'm interested and end up getting ghosted. It's pretty rare that I get a woman on a second date. Universal bit of feedback I get is that I'm incredibly hard to read, and most women don't know whether or not I actually like them. If it's that consistent, sure, there might be something there. I mean, maybe you're very stoic. Maybe it's just the way you carry yourself. I don't know. But gals can carry the weight of the conversation every once in a while. I can't really fault you. I have a hard time reading you. Why? Because he's not blathering out. I mean, you're not talking too much, which is probably better, but not getting second day. I don't know. You just being a little bit more reserved, not even shy or quiet, just reserved. It's like you don't show up and don't say anything. And they're having a hard time reading you. I don't know what that means. Not you. Because I have a hard time reading you. Like, why? Do you need my genome all unlocked? Do you need the cheat code? Will you need my algorithm? I press this button, he does that. I mean, your marionette puppet. What do you mean you don't get me? We've been out like for 15 minutes. Of course you're not going to get me. You're going to have to like date me a little bit more to figure it out. The only reason I give that critique, not a criticism, that critique, constructive criticism, a little bit of credence is because multiple gals have said it. So maybe talk to some buddies. I hate to say talk to your female friends. Like, am I hard to read? And I wouldn't read too much into it. Because we're talking about flighty girls, okay? We're talking about young gals that have been filled full of indoctrination. And you know what? Hang on. Let's try something. Hang on. He's so hard to read. It's not a girl thing. It's not a guy thing. It's a people. Why some men are so hard to read. It's difficult being a short-term, long-term each of you, but parents, women struggle with questions that we yearn to have answered, but fear asking. I wonder if he really thinks I'm pretty. Does he really not mind that I do that? And does he really love me and my body? Or he just says it out loud. Who knows? I don't know if that's a modern day thing. He's so hard to read. Why he's also going to be another state. Thinks someone who's hard. All women's talks. You've been flirting with the guy who's been flirting back. Doesn't mean anything more to him. Does he really like you? I don't. How to read a guy in 10 minutes. Thank God Cosmo, because Cosmo has made women, has led to so many happy marriages long term. 55 things you can learn about a guy in 10 minutes. Oh, this ought to be good. Credit versus cash, how long he's been hanging with his friends, his bad habits, his communication styles, the clothes, turning you on off. He likes to party, how he deals with traffic. He always initiates sex. Thank God for Cosmo. What would women do without that? Another common one is that I'm perfect, but they aren't feeling butterflies with me. That's a lie. It's a lie. I don't even know how to start improving that. I also have the male version of resting bitch face, which doesn't help. Okay, well, there you go. There you go. Maybe that's what you should do. Maybe that's what you should focus on. In the olden days, I would have been critical of men. I really would have. I would have said, okay, try this, try that, da, da, da. As I'm getting older, I'm getting more and more reports from the field. I really think you're in a generation of truly broken women. They're not, they are interested in dating. They're interested in men. They're interested in getting married, but they will put absolutely no effort into it. And they certainly will not question that they might be wrong, or that you might have some expectations, or that you might need to be entertained or stimulated intellectually or intrigued. I really think the solipsism is so strong within young women today that you really are a thing. You're an object. Like, I get my degree, I get my SUV, I get my mansion, I have my kids, and I have my daycare, and then I have my fur baby, and I have my nail appointment. I really, even back in my day, it was pulling teeth. Like, you'd have to be the court jester and entertaining. And then it wasn't until like I was about your age, 30. Well, I'm like, fuck this shit. If you're bored, I'm gonna like, hey, yeah, it ain't going anywhere. See you, bye. I went through enough painful dates where you act and you try to pull teeth for 2 hours. Man, unless I got to meet you and I had to see you on a date, which would cost you an egregious amount of money, I'm just going to say it's not you, dude. It's not. Go test, find out. Never discount. Because the great thing about having a flaw, if you have the error, if you are erring, you are making the error, that's within your ability to control. But I'm afraid if you change it, like, put on a fake smile or whatever, you're not going to enjoy dating anymore. You could try ballroom dancing because you don't have to talk. You can focus. But honestly, based on all the data that's been coming into the Bat computer, no. Just take a break, man. If you're bored with dating, stop doing it. Or go on some dates that are really different, or maybe go on group dates. So you're hanging out with your friends and hanging out with your buddies, and if the gal's there, cool. Maybe a different side of you shows up. But again, really listen to that podcast we just did earlier today. Good Morning Corona Chan, number 32, I believe. It's a chore. It is an absolute chore to date today. And I'm sure for women, it's not that much more fun. Just free. Hey, free shit. Oh, communism. Oh my God, I'm so hot. But no, man, life is too short to be doing shit that you don't want to do. Absolutely not. I wouldn't do that. There you go. Any super chats? Holy cow, we got a super chat. Blue North Bear for 10 generous dollars. Thank you. I appreciate your content. So take care of yourself. I have a question. At 38, I've lost interest in women. They're such a hassle now. Is this normal? Yeah. It's even that happened in my day. I tapped out at like 31, 32. Every once in a while, you kind of look like, yeah, what's my market value? Oh, is this someone? And between, that and, God, I remember, just even asking girls to dance. God, it's not fun. And based on all the reports and observations I'm getting from men in the field, no, it's completely, yes, it is completely normal. I mean, how many times you go out there and then someone takes a hammer and hits your hand with it? You're like, ow. And you go and try to do that hammer, hits your hand again. Ow. After a while, you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. No matter how much you'd like to get laid, it's going to be such a pain in the ass. You're like, by God. Christ almighty, I can barely tolerate people who are my friends. You know, I can't imagine what it's like to go out with someone completely new who has such conditioning and programming to like view you as adversarial and like you better and he better. Just no. And you're 38, man. Now's the time you start thinking, well, maybe I'll stay in. Maybe I'll take things easy. Maybe I'll just chill out, have a beer. Maybe you start getting into scotch or cigars or something. I don't know. Go get a motorcycle. Go do something. But no, 38, you're too old to be. A lot of people say, but dude, it's your time. Right, it is your time. You're like at your peak sexual value, approaching it or whatever market value you want to call it. But if you don't like doing it, look, guys, you got to go to work. Okay, you got to go to school and you got to do all this other shit and you got to work out and stay in shape. There's all these things you gotta, but you don't have to. He better, right? You could just not date. You don't have to. You can stay at home and relax. If you have enough money, you can get yourself a girl from seeking arrangement. If you got to scratch the sexual itch, you can travel. You can do all this other stuff. But you know, give it the good go. Give it a shot. You know, date gals, be a good man, be polite, show up on time, be civil, try to be charming and funny, do your best. And if it's still pulling teeth and you get one word answers and she doesn't ask you questions, boom, you have guys. It is not your obligation to keep the responsibility, or it's not your obligation to keep the conversation going. That's both of your responsibilities. And man, because I didn't know any better, I thought I was failing. When I was, 19, 20-year-old Cappy, 21, like TJ's age. Oh, pretty lady. Just the pain. It was like, hey, do you want? Oh, that's nice. Oh, okay. You just sit there, you're like, yeah, you know what? If the girl doesn't answer you, start asking, just sit there. Give her like 30 seconds. Time it. And you can even say, like, sorry, what are you doing? Timing you. Why? Well, because, say something in another 15 seconds, I'm leaving. And then, what? At least there's some life in there. Metaphorically, slap her intellect up a little bit. Hey, look, and you could get into a great conversation. What, do you think it's the guy's responsibility to just sit here and entertain you? Why don't you go watch television if you want to be entertained? I'm not your court jester. I'm out of here. See ya. Who cares? Just life is too short. That it. There we go. All right. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.